I'm Diana Donlon. I'm with Center for Food Safety, a civil society organization based in the United States. I work in the San Francisco office, and I've come to COP to highlight an under-recognized opportunity to address climate change, and that is rebuilding soil carbon.
Okay, so why should we care about soil? It seems not the most headline-grabbing thing at one of these events. Is that right?
Well, today just happens to be World Soil Day, and it also happens to be the FAO's International Year of Soil. And Alex, you're right. Soil is perhaps our most unappreciated natural resource, but it's also one of the most essential.
It's a bit mundane, if you'll forgive the pun.
Well, the thing is, we have too much carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, as you know, and we also have too much carbon dioxide in our oceans. The excess from the atmosphere is dissolving into the oceans, but we actually lack carbon in our soils, where unlike the atmosphere that's overwhelmed and the ocean that's overwhelmed, it's an amazing thing for soil fertility. So even if we weren't concerned about climate, we would need to rebuild our soil carbon.
What sorts of mitigation potential does this have? We're wary about doing things such as geoengineering because we're not sure of the consequences, but might investing in this be a bit of a no-brainer?
It's absolutely a no-brainer. It's a triple win for food security, for water security, and for climate security. So we know that the Earth's population is growing, so we need to feed people, and we need to feed people nutritious food. And the more carbon content that's in the soil that comes from the soil organic matter, the more nutrients are in the food that's produced from the soil, the more water that the soil is able to hold. And so that makes communities more resilient in the face of a changing climate.
How are we going to fund this? Where does big business stand on this, for example?
Well, so this is the beauty of soil, is that rebuilding soil carbon, as I said, it's a triple win because we improve climate, food, and water security, as well as biodiversity. I mean, it has other benefits as well, but it has global applications. So, and the barriers to entry are very, very low because we can do this. We don't need to have any technologies. We rely on Mother Nature. We need to increase photosynthetic activity. Upwards of 40% of our land is degraded at this point, that actually lacks soil carbon. And when soils are degraded to such an extent that they lack enough carbon, they cannot do what they're supposed to do. So we are seeing increased flooding and increased drought. For instance, in California, where I live, we've had the worst drought on record. They think it's the worst drought in over 500 years. And our soil carbon content statewide is about 1%, which is extremely low.
What's its average content?
Well, in the rest of the United States, it tends to be between 2 and 3%, which is higher, of course. But the potential, the soil carbon content, now it varies across ecosystems. Some ecosystems have a higher capacity, so they can store more carbon. Some more arid environments naturally will hold less, but it really should be about 5 to 7%. And when you increase that organic matter, you increase the carbon content, you also increase the water holding capacity. So that would be a very important thing in California, for instance, to incentivize rebuilding soil carbon so that we were better able to face our drought.
Thanks very much.